Should each rental property be in its own LLC? My name is Sam Bryant, and I'm an attorney that helps build and protect Florida businesses. So for real estate investors, should you have each of your properties in its own LLC? This is a question I think is very common. I think lawyers fall on both ends of the coin here, whether you should have an LLC for each property or just have one LLC that has all your real estate in it. For me as a personal investor, I do have a rental property myself, and as time goes on, I'm more on the fence, or at least I'm more on the side of not having an LLC for each individual rental property. And I say that mainly because the whole purpose of forming LLCs is not just for liability protection. It's also for, it's mainly meant for a business owner that's in business with somebody else. Because what the original intent of the LLC was supposed to be that if I have a business with somebody else and my partner does something wrong, I should enjoy the limited liability protection of not having to pay for my business partner's transgressions. But over time, people have used the LLC as a mainly asset protection mechanism. And you can do that, but if the whole purpose is to protect the asset, which in the context of real estate would be each individual property, it could be compromised by doing a structure where you have one LLC per property. So what do I mean by that? So a court may not recognize your LLC structure if you've got 10 rental properties and every rental property has its own LLC, because the court may think of it as you're only using the LLC structure to protect your asset. So this LLC is not a real legitimate business. Instead, it's just a way for you to avoid liability. So if anything were to happen with any one of your individual properties and you have that in an individual LLC and you go to court and you tell the judge that the tenant or whatever happened, the only extent of liability should be that one LLC, a judge may not agree with you. So there's an issue right then and there. So because of that, I tend to think that you do want to operate your real estate investments as an actual company. So what I tell my clients and what I tell prospective clients is, in the real estate space, if you're going to have multiple properties, try to group them. So don't just do one LLC per property, but maybe you do one LLC for your residential properties and one LLC for your commercial properties, and then each LLC has multiple properties underneath that. That kind of structure gives you a stronger argument if you ever go to court and someone argues that you're only using your LLC for asset protection. You can argue that these LLCs are legitimate businesses and therefore they should be treated as such and the liability should be limited. So if you're concerned about not having the maximum protection in case you get sued for each individual property, the way you overcome that is simply with homeowners insurance. There's a lot of policies that have provisions that would protect you in the event of litigation to a certain extent. And you can maybe explore business insurance as well. So those insurance mechanisms are an additional safety net that you can have on top of this structure, what I'm talking about, because it just helps you be in a better position to preserve the LLC structure in case something goes wrong. Because what's the point of having this structure if you end up going to court and the court disregards it and then your assets are at stake anyway? So those are just my thoughts on that. I hope you found the video helpful. If you want to get in contact with me or if you have more questions about protecting specifically real estate assets using an LLC, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available to help. Hope you found that helpful again, and hope you have a great day.